I can't be less of what you made me. I'm made for worship. That's what I'll do. I can't be less, yeah, of what you made me. Everybody say.
All right, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to another insightful, inspiring edition of the Purpose and You talk show. And tonight is going to be like no other night. The background song is a song of the Eagle himself, Asha, Minister Dunsin Oyekan. I can't be less than what you made me. If that's your heart's cry tonight, if that's the desire of your heart, if that's the conviction deep within you, I want you to please type it in the comment section. I can't be less than what you made me. I am here to fulfill my purpose. I'm here to fulfill a mission. I'm here on a kingdom mandate. In every sphere of influence, I am here to fulfill a mandate. I can't be less than what you made me. If you made me to soar as an eagle, I will not be satisfied crawling on the ground. Right? There's always space at the top. And there's always a crowd and traffic on the ground. I have never seen, somebody can correct me, I have never seen where there was traffic in the air, where birds had traffic in the sky, or where aeroplanes were queuing up in the sky because there was no space. There is always room at the top, and that's why I'm excited about the guest that we have tonight on the show. Especially if you are an employee in an organization or you're about to transition from undergraduate level to getting a job. If you are new in the workspace, our guest tonight will help you navigate your way seamlessly from wherever you are within an organization. Tonight's session is for you. And please quickly share this live link with your friends. I want to wait for as many people as possible to join before I bring up our guest live. And by the way, she is joining live from the United Kingdom, from UK. So this is a night we have been waiting for. It's a night of nights. The night of nights. My name is Mr. Purpose International. If you're meeting me for the very first time, by God's grace, I am the founder of the Purpose Discovery Academy, an academy that is a leading force right here in Nigeria, Africa, the premier Purpose and Self-Discovery and Leadership Academy for young people. And we have been ongoing for 15 years plus and still counting. So tonight we want to talk about fulfilling your purpose in the workplace. I'm going to bring up our guest tonight around 9:15. So Ma, just give us a few minutes to allow more people come in, and then I want to do a bit of introduction of what we'll be talking about tonight, and then I'll bring you up live. So thank you so much for joining us. I'll read her profile, and by the way, for those who love to read, you are in for a great time as well, because she just published an intellectual masterpiece for those in the career space. You know, there are two ways you can climb up a building, especially if it's a skyscraper. You can choose to go through the staircase, and if you're going to the 50th floor, imagine you want to use the staircase to get to the topmost floor of Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world. then you must be extremely fit. And no matter how fit you are, you still want to enjoy the luxury of using the elevator. The wisdom that she has put together in her new book, I'm going to talk about that as well. We're going to talk about that, also how to get it. It's going to help you navigate your way seamlessly and avoid all the loopholes, all the traps, all the unwritten rules to make your journey in the career space seamless. All right. So we're talking about fulfilling your purpose in the workplace, and I just want to quickly share a thought. I want to establish the context of our conversation tonight. So I'm going to just quickly talk about some differences between a job and your life's work. Some differences between your some differences between your all right, so the music is out of the way. Some differences between your job, just being on a job without attaching a sense of mission to it. The difference between a job and your life's work. A job is what you are trained to do. A job is what you are trained to do, but your life's work is what you were born to do. A job is what you were trained to do. Your life's work is what you were born to do. A job is going to be fulfilled through a career path. On a job, you build a career. On your life's work is your assignment. To fulfill your job, you need skill. You need to upskill skill. But your life's work, you have to use your gift, your inborn gift. That is your potential. But for your job, you need credentials. Now, your job, you can be fired from your job. But from your life's work, you can't be fired from your life's work. Next, you can retire from a job, but when you find your life's work, your purpose, you refire on your life's work. You refire from your life's work. You can resign from a job, but you enter a new design on your life's work. And lastly, your job gives you salary, but your life's work gives you fulfillment. So the conversation tonight, we want to see how we can marry the two, how we are able to fulfill our life's work within the workspace. And she's up live, then we will start this exciting, interesting conversation. So wherever you are joining us from tonight, could you please put it in the comment section? Let us meet you. And those who are Navi Walk Live followers, please can you also let me know that you are here? Please put up your location and what you do. Please, could you put that in the comment section? Okay, so our guest tonight is a fantastic, amazing woman. Her name is Mrs. Ameze Osague-Iduh, a seasoned human resources executive and attorney. She has distilled her experience in a day-to-day guide, anticipating all the nuanced situations that can arise at work. By following her no-nonsense approach, you will perform your best and understand and thrive in any employer's culture. Use Body Up as a guide, book, or daily reference tool to position yourself for long-term success. All right, okay, sorry, that's more like the about the book. Let me read about our guest tonight. She's a woman of faith and law. Ameze Osague-Iduh is also a writer, a human resources executive, a coach, a wife, and a mother. Okay. For more than 15 years, she has honed her people skills and has established herself as a key resource for cultivating strong and positive work cultures. Regardless of the type of professional environment, she has consistently promoted diverse workplaces where every worker is engaged and high performing. Ameze has extracted useful, practical information from her years of welcoming employees directly out of college and has created this useful primer for young workers entering a professional workplace, potentially for the very first time. Success in the workplace often eludes some workers who may not fully understand strong work habits that set the stage for individual success among co-workers. That is the profile of the author of this great book, who is also our guest tonight. Ma, I've tried to send you a request. Let me try again. So everybody, you are about to be hit by a tsunami of wisdom if you are in the employee space, career path. I've sent you a request again. I hope you are able to join now. Oh, finally. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor and the pleasure of hosting the amazing Ameze. Wow.
Hey.
Let's give her a round of applause. A round of applause from all over the continent. Well, we have people joining from the United States of
Wow.
Nigeria, United States, Nigeria, Lagos, Port Harcourt, Abuja, and of course, where you are based, United Kingdom. So we are all united under the kingdom of our God.
That's
So
right.
good to see you.
Same
So
here,
good to see you.
Mr. Purpose International.
Thank
So good.
you
It
so much.
feels like forever. Thank God for
Oh yeah.
lives.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. All right. So let's get right straight into it. Uh,
Okay.
who is this phenomenal woman called Amazing Amazing? For those who are meeting you for the very first time, can you
Hmm.
tell? Can you let us know a bit about you,
Okay.
but
This
like the most impactful?
yeah, this sounds like a tell me about yourself question in an interview. Oh, so okay, so yes, I am a woman of faith and law. I mean, primarily a woman of faith, and everything else about me hails from that, being a woman of faith in God. So that I'm a lawyer, stems from that. That I'm a HR professional stems from that. That I'm a mother stems from that. That I'm a wife comes from that. That I'm a sister. That I'm a daughter. That I'm a friend comes from my faith in God. Of course, my background is in law. I was called to the Nigerian bar in 2004. That's 20 years ago. Interesting. And then I've been doing HR since 2007, and I've been head of
Wow.
HR since 2010. Yes,
Oh wow.
because I joined an organization in 2007 to do legal HR and trust, and then in 2010 I was asked to build an independent HR division, because at the time human resources was fused with the legal and the trust department, and so I did that, and since then I never looked back, because I'm generally passionate about people and people fulfilling their purpose in work and enjoying themselves while they do it. A lot of people
Mm.
go to work and are grateful when it's Friday and are moody when it's Monday.
Monday, yes.
And yeah, so I was I have always been passionate about creating an environment. I used to be a worship leader, and I was taught that worship was creating an environment where people can sense God, lead them into that, not just go in by yourself, but lead them into that.
Mm.
So, the same way, I'm very passionate about creating an environment where people can thrive, where people like to come to at work, where people look forward to being in. And so that has always been the bane or the core of my HR practice. I mean, at least when I was actively practicing HR. And then so when I moved to the UK and we were really trying to settle in and I wasn't getting roles, I decided, okay, I started writing a book in 2020 during COVID.
Okay.
Started first of all as LinkedIn post. So why don't you just finish the book? And so before I left Nigeria, I already started working with my editor who is based in the US, in Phoenix, Arizona. And I just told her that, look, remember this, I'm going to finish it up now. You already have the whole manuscript. Let me know what's missing. And then we finalized it, and 2024 1st of May the book was launched. Navi Work was launched November 6th, 2023. So I guess that's me in a nutshell.
That's you in a nutshell. Wonderful profile in a nutshell. I've breezed through this book. For those who are joining us, yeah, this is Body Up.
Yeah.
This is an intellectual masterpiece.
Thank
It should
you.
be like the Bible for every career person, especially for those who are just about to leave college or they are still in their early stages in their career.
Yeah.
Interestingly, I also studied HR. I studied HR as that's my first, as I say, BSc in. But because of so I connect a lot with what you're doing. I understand the role and responsibilities and the need to have sound HR policies in the workplace. Because from my own personal discovery, there are usually 4 types of workers in every organization. Number 1, there's the lazy worker. There's then number 2, these are my own labels. Number 2, you have the lazy worker feels very entitled, does less than what he or she is paid to do, hates Mondays, loves Fridays, loves it when the calendar is getting to 24th, 25th of the month because payday is there, it's close by, and they have a very bad attitude on the job. Now, the worker is just the worker. They are just hanging in there. They love the title more than the responsibility. They flow with the flow. So whatever the public opinion is in the workplace or the mood, they come to work and they catch the virus of the lazy worker easily. Then the third category of workers, we have the hard worker. The hard worker is very competitive, but will easily step on toes, will not break rules, but is ready to also break relationships to advance his own agenda. The hard worker never takes initiative beyond the scope of the job description, and they usually use this language: this is what I was told to do. This is what I was told to. Even if things are no longer working, they just keep to that same old. You can, but the star worker, which is the 4th category, is the problem solver. The problem solver is the star worker. The problem solver probably must have read Body Up. So their mindset, is different. They solve problems beyond their core skill. They have an open mind. They want to learn. They have emotional intelligence. When they make mistakes, they accept responsibility for it. They are good team players. They make their boss look better, and they connect with the vision of the job. They are willing to even take a pay cut if they see an organization that has a vision that connects with their own life's mission. So, and then they usually rise eventually to leadership position in every organization. This is something I have observed.
And you have not written it in a book, Mr. Purpose International? Wow.
Well, it's in the works. It's in the works.
Please, and let us know.
All right, man. So today is more about you. It's not about me. So let's get more into, or maybe we should make it I ask you one question, you ask me one question,
Okay,
and
that'll
then
be
let's see,
fun. That'll be fun.
let's see how that goes.
Okay,
Let's see how that goes. So I usually like to ask our guests on this show, because there are a few young people that connect as well, to tell us about their childhood and what you studied in school. That were you amongst the generation where whose parents either forced you to study something that was totally opposite of what you're doing today, or were you fortunate enough to have studied a course that positioned you for your life's work, for your life's purpose? So can you take us back to your history, your
Okay.
educational history?
Yeah, so I would count myself as very fortunate, to be honest, because I don't know that if I wanted to read something else, my parents would have kicked against it, because they didn't kick against what I wanted to. Since I was 5, I said I wanted to be a lawyer. Now, and I think that I got that feeling or the desire to become a lawyer from watching movies. Those that are Navi workers that have heard me over time or that are close to me know that I am a movie body. When series came out, I moved from movies to series. So, I mean, a lot of my influences and education, I used to say that if we went to school in Nigeria and we studied by watching movies, I'd have graduated with a first class, because I would literally memorize the conversations.
Mm,
A lot of the wisdom that I have shared, I learned from watching movies.
wow.
A lot of the exposure that I have, I got from watching movies. Of course, there was a lot of travel, in my history, but a lot of the things I experienced when I started traveling, I said, "Oh, this is this thing that I saw in the movie. It didn't come after." So from age 5, I knew that I wanted to be a lawyer, and age 5 means nursery 2, at least in my time. But I
Okay.
was clear as day at that age.
Mm,
But it was from watching movies, and I think it must have been American law, because the British legal system is much like the Nigerian one. It's very stiff, not as dramatic as the American
legal
legal
system.
system. Exactly. So when I was thinking I wanted to be a lawyer, that's what I had at the back of my mind. And because I was quite talkative. I think I still am a bit talkative. But when I was young, I was very talkative. So everybody would say, "Of course, what else would you be? Of course, you talk a lot. You are always talkative." I mean, I had so many nicknames: chatterbox, parrots. Everybody called me everything. And so people were not shocked that I wanted to be a lawyer. But of course, when you read law, you know that reading law is not all about talking. Is talking
Yeah.
sensibly,
Yes.
marrying the law with the facts, and then of course when it comes to corporate law, it's totally different. Well, not totally different, but another ball game. But when people want to be lawyers, everybody's thinking about litigation, going to court or arbitration. But there's more to the law
There's
than
more
that. So I
to it.
went to So when I was I was very good in English. And I was the child that, because I liked to play, I liked to work, because I believed that I would be able to play when I finish working, because at least that's what my parents had instilled in me. My mom is a retired colonel. My dad was a sculptor. So
Wow.
there was the required amount of discipline in the house. So I would come back from school in my uniform. I would do my assignment in my uniform, my school uniform. I would
Wow.
sit, do my assignment, eat my food, then go and play, because I knew that I had to do my assignments.
Play.
But
Yeah.
because I wanted, so it wasn't about loving the assignment, it was about loving play.
Play. Yeah.
I MC
Motivation
for
for
church.
play. Yeah. The motivation for play made you do your work
Absolutely.
when you had to do.
Yes.
Mm.
So before I am, it's because it's church that I believe that the spiritual angle to it. So, but when I'm doing it, when I've prayed and I'm ready and I've gotten into it, I enjoy it because it's fun. So I used to say that's why I am very particular about people enjoying what they do, being able to play even if it's work. So of course when I said I wanted to read law, my father didn't mind, my mom didn't mind. We have a lawyer in the family, so they didn't have a problem with it. And I would do the work, then I'll go and play. And my mom used to say, "You are the most playful person in this house, but you always have the best result." They don't know that I have the best result because I want to play.
Yeah.
I don't want to be playing. Then you now
Mm.
say then you will not go and read your book. No, I need the grounds to be able to play as hard as I want, So I was good in literature, I was good in English, I was good in government. I went to military school, Nigerian Navy Secondary School. I went to Air Force Primary School, and then I went to University of Benin and I read law. Now, that's also is very important, the power of your words. I'd said it for so long that my JAM result was good, my SSE was good. And when I went into Uniben for the first time, I met a man who I had met years before in my church. I had come to my childhood church at the time. And he said, "We are here." I said, "Yes." He said, "You got into Uniben." I said, I told him I was going to go to Uniben and I was going to read law.
Wow.
He said, what are you in for? I said, law. He looked at my mom. He said, "This girl has been saying this thing." So I got into Uniben to read law. I finished reading law and then I worked in a law firm because then there was the ASU strike that had made, there was so many backlog of students that hadn't gone to school. So a lot of us had to wait for 14 months after. So
Wow.
Uniben, not Unilag, Uniben, maybe LASU, some schools, Unilag and I think UNEC, I know that they got in when they were supposed to get in, but some schools had to wait for about 14 months before going to law school. So those 14 months, I would have loved to play, but my brothers insisted that I work. So I worked for a law firm for those 14 months, but it was perfect as well because it made me say, "Oh, this thing may not be bad." So yeah, that was my childhood. Really, I went to military school. I read law. It was what I wanted. I didn't know it was as difficult as it was. I thought it was just funky and lots of drama and all of that. But yeah, my parents were very supportive, very proud. And in my time, it's either you read medicine or you read law or you read accounting or you read engineering.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Those
So
were the
I was fortunate to be reading want to read what was the acceptable thing at the time. HR was, and I'm grateful because having the law as a background, and I say this without fear of contradiction, a lawyer can do anything. That's the truth. Because there's a way you are trained to think as a lawyer. When people come to you in HR to make a complaint, you're very particular about the details of what they're saying. You get that from law. You're careful to say, this thing you're saying, is this how it happened? Is this what was said? Is it exactly what was said? Or are you inferring something from what was said? Or is this, and that, I think that can only come from not only, but that for me came from a legal background, knowing that, what you say matters. So don't say something that didn't happen. And somebody said that to me once. You always say that. I say, what? They say, you always say, is that what he said? Because I know that you can infer that somebody said something from what the person said. And if somebody said, be quiet, is different from shut up. One is more appropriate for the workplace than the other. But you cannot say because somebody said be quiet, you now say the person told me to shut up. Yes. Yes. So I'm to that end, I'm quite fortunate. I wasn't forced to read law. I think that's what I would say. Yeah. Yes.
All right. Wow. Powerful story. I see similar patterns with people who eventually evolve on their journey.
Yeah.
God uses like the ordinary to prepare them for the extraordinary that is ahead of them. So I don't know if you're familiar with the concept of multiple intelligence theory. That's something that I teach to young people, that one of the ways to, especially parents who are trying to force their children to go in a particular path that their natural makeup is not suited for, especially when what the child is saying is very unconventional. For example, many years ago, it would have been a joke to wake up and tell your father that you want to be a comedian. He will laugh. He will laugh and just tell you, go to your room. Maybe you have had too much to eat. Then come back the next day and tell me what you really want to be. Or you want to be a musician. Or you want to be, what else is trending now? That people are making
trend in my time also was I want to be a footballer. Football became, to become a footballer became good, I think, in 1996. I
90,
don't know. I think it was
yeah.
Abata when they won. When
The
I think it was the Kanu one called
Atlanta
J. Okuta.
96, yes.
Yes, that was when becoming a footballer became something
Like,
desirable.
yeah. Because
And
a few people who that was their purpose for being on the earth, and they had turned it to their profession, had made a success out
of
of
it,
it. So the pattern here is any career path that the individuals on that career path are wired for that path, have a passion for that, what they are doing. They eventually make a success of that. And then the people in the crowd who are yet to have a clue of what they are doing on the earth now seem to want to just join what is trending because of the money, because of the fame, because of the uh, glamour and all of that. So right in our generation now, many people want to be like a Pastor K that is now traveling around the world on tours and all of that. But they do not know the background story that this man built all of his empire from scratch, and he was doing it more for passion. There was a season that he was renting halls with his money and paying for diesel when he didn't even have a car to teach people about marriage free of charge. Anyways, let's not get ahead of ourselves. So please, ma, tell us and tell the audience watching, how did Ameze discover her life's work? How did you discover your purpose? And when was that discovery very clear to you?
hmm. So I think that a lot of young people are too busy looking for purpose when they should just be functioning. There was a time, I think, when Steve Jobs died, or when Steve Jobs, just before he died, he created this passion for purpose. So you just find people started throwing that around, and people will be idle and they'll say, I am looking for my purpose. You discover your purpose on the path to your purpose. You don't sit down and
I
think your purpose will stumble on you. You discover your purpose as you are doing what your hand finds to do. You don't just, grab a purpose from the air or admire what somebody is doing and say that that's your purpose. No, your purpose is discovered on your journey, and on that journey, you are working. You're not idle. So, I wouldn't have known that I was passionate about the Nigerian worker if I was not working with the Nigerian worker. I wouldn't have known that I was passionate about young people understanding if I wasn't working with young people. And so Navi work was born because everybody was complaining about millennials and Gen Zs and their lack of accountability and their lack of work ethic. And in my life, I don't like complainers. I honestly don't like complainers. I believe, and because remember, I said that my faith is the foundation of everything. I'm a very word-based person, and everything I had studied about complainers in the Bible was not good. The
Yeah.
ground had opened up to swallow complainers before.
Hello. Yes.
So I've always complainers. When I hear people complaining about things and always criticizing, so it irritates my ear, and so I just decided that I wouldn't join the people complaining. And if you don't join them and you keep quiet, you're still not doing anything about it. And like I said, I also genuinely like people. I always say that. I mean, I've met people that are not easy to like, but at the back of my mind, I really genuinely like people. Oh, some people are easier to like than others. So I just thought, rather than complain about this generation of people, because they are the new workforce, love it or hate it, this is what you're going to deal with. So why don't we, before we begin to complain, have we tried to teach them? Because a lot of us had the privilege of working with people that taught us. So, and that's how I stumbled into it. I was working, I saw that there was a problem, and I said, how do we fix it? So you discover your purpose on your journey to fix a problem. You discover your purpose when you decide to be a solution. And then that thing that aches you, that thing that is tugging at you, that thing that, I'm very passionate about culture. Like I don't think I would thrive in a toxic environment. It will stifle me. So rather than complain about the environment, in every organization I've worked, I've been part of a project or a plan to better the culture, improve the culture, or remind the people about the culture. Because as with culture, anything that you do not enforce, it dies away, it dissipates. So I've always been in culture change projects. I've always been in, a culture reenactment project. I've done Project Thrive, Best Place to Work initiative, culture transformation. I'm always involved in that. Why? Because I believe that people should be happy at work. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's a dream, but I genuinely, because I like to be happy. In fact, I had someone name me, all I want is for people to be happy. That's what the person, an old lady, just saw me and not saw me. I mean, she spent some time with me and she gave me a name in their native language. And the meaning of the name was meaning of the name is all I want is for everybody to be happy. And it doesn't just
Wow.
mean at home, also at work. So I thought, so that's how I discovered my purpose. I believe, and I only articulated it when Navi work started. It has run through my life's work as a lawyer working in a law firm. When people are complaining about the bosses, I always found a reason for why they were doing what they were doing, because I wasn't paying people salaries every 25th. And I felt like if somebody can do this and not owe you for one day, they have to be doing something right, and we need to applaud them for something. So I've
For
never
that.
really been part of the complaining squad. But
Mm.
people were complaining because sometimes they had valid reasons. So what do? I realized that I would like to be the bridge. I would like to be the bridge between the people complaining to interpret the situation.
Mm.
So I found that on my journey. If I didn't start a
Wow.
journey and I said I was waiting to find the purpose, I never would have found it. That's the truth.
Wow.
Your purpose is not foisted on you. It is discovered as you work, as you journey, as you are trying to solve problems. And then when something is a problem that is tugging at you and it's something that's constantly in your face, it's probably your purpose. And you feel like you can fix this thing. It's probably your purpose to find a solution to it. So
Wow.
I
Thank you
think that's the
so much.
story.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Awesome. All right. I will just add to that by saying that the other way, if you're watching this, the other way you can find your purpose today is to attend the Purpose Discovery Academy.
Yes,
And
please.
find now the things you said are actually reinforcing the principles we teach. Now, when young people go through our school, our academy, there's something I always put a caveat that, hey, everything I'm teaching you is not to be stored in your head. It's to ignite your heart to go do something with this knowledge. For example, if you come to a swimming instructor, I want to learn how to swim. It takes you to a pool and he shows you how to use your hands in water. When he's done, maybe after 6 weeks, if you now go back to your house and all you're doing is remembering how great the instructor was, you would never become a great swimmer. So I keep reminding them that the only way to find your purpose is to do something right now from where you are. Start solving the very problem right in front of your eyes, right in front of your face.
Yeah.
And you just alluded to that, which is very key for our generation, the younger generation, to understand that rather than complain about problems around you, why not look for solutions to the problems? If you cannot solve a problem, don't be part of the problem. At least
Exactly.
do what you have to do. Something as simple as coming early to work. Something as simple as doing what you have been asked to do. Something as simple as the dress culture of a workplace. Don't intentionally go against it in the name of you are a Gen Z. You know, there's some basic things that the Gen Z generation should learn. You know, so next interesting question I have for you is kind of it's usually very controversial. Some people can remove their shirts when they're talking about this. big issue. So it's the issue of money. So I want to talk about that now. So what's important for a young person that wants to fulfill purpose in the workplace, right? Finding a well-paying job or finding a well-aligned job that fits his life's work. Now, this person does not have a very clear picture of what his or her purpose in life is, what his or her vision is yet, but the person maybe attends a good church, has heard his pastor or her pastor say, find your purpose is more meaningful to fulfill your purpose, but there's also that economic stability thing. So what would you advise a final year student about to step out of school? Which door would you ask the person to enter? Just two doors. Let's assume there are just two doors. This door is the door to purpose. This door is the door to instant big pay. But this door that leads to big pay is going to take you farther away from what you were meant to be doing. Or is there a way to marry the two?
Okay. Good question. You said there were just two doors, so I was already beginning to think which door, because I was going to think about a possible marriage. The first thing I would say, you're about to get out of school, get a job. Don't get a job that aligns with your purpose or that has more money. First of all, get a job. Why do I say get a job? Because there's this thing about people talking about how we're wired. We're wired to get out of school and look for a job. We're not wired to get out of school and create jobs, or get out of school and create opportunities for employment or become employable. We're just wired to get out of school and get a job. What I will say is get out of school and earn a living. So maybe I shouldn't use job. Get out and earn a living. Don't so if there are two doors, and the first door, that if you're leaving school and you're very clear, because a lot of young people think that they're very clear, but as you get older you realize that you probably were not as clear as you thought you were, but that's a story for another day. So you get out of school, there are two doors. There is this well-paying job that takes you, you're very sure it takes you farther away from so let me use a young woman. There is a prostitution, because that's the only thing that I can think about. There is a prostitution door. There is a get a job as an entry level and grow through the ranks. Of course I will tell you to get a job as an entry level and grow through the ranks. I won't tell you to take the get rich quick schemes, because that is what they are. They are schemes. So I would tell you to get, and that when you get in there, to be honest, when you get that job that is not the get rich quick door, it may not meet all your expectations. If you've heard anything about legal practice, young lawyers, then I don't know about now, don't earn a lot. But eventually, they always say eventually, the lawyer is a star, because it is anticipated that you are honing your skills. So you will go through the door where your skills will be honed. Will you stay in that one job? Not necessarily. My mother worked in the same place for 31 years, but and that's in the Nigerian army. My dad worked in the ministry, like with the government. At that time, it was most of our parents worked for government, So, but I wasn't that far off. I worked in an investment bank for 12 years, and then I left the investment bank. I moved to logistics tech, and then from there I moved to a cloud and digital service company before I moved to the UK. But for me, I was funny enough, I was having this conversation with my younger brother yesterday, and I was saying, if I found a place where I was solving a problem, they were also solving my problem, because it's supposed to be a two-way street. But as a young person, first of all, as you are solving that problem, what you are learning, the skills you are honing, nobody can take it away from you. Somebody will find you. Somebody will find you and pay for those skills. So it may not come. It may not come at the beginning. Some people are fortunate that they are able to marry the pay with the skill, and they get a job that is happy to pay them. But when you get fresh out of school, you don't have any skill, or you have not that you don't have any skill, you have knowledge, but you have not had the opportunity to put it to work. And that's why I hope you advise your young people to intern, because internship, I interned as a younger person. When I was in school, I used to go and work for my uncle when I was in university, but I did it because I God was my aristo. I didn't want to have anybody. So it was God I was depending on for my money. So I'll go and work for my uncle every Wednesday. I talked about it on the day of my book launch. Every Wednesday was a lecture-free day for me in the university. So I would go to my uncle's office. There was a gallery in Benin, and I would sit at the front desk. I was doing that job as if I was the CEO of a tech Fortune 500 company. I would sit at the front. I would dress properly, a fantastic blazer, because law students used to wear white and black, and wear jackets. I would wear either a sky blue jacket. I remember one jacket I had that my best friend's older sister bought for me and my best friend. When I was in university, I would wear it. I would go there. I'll be taking notes. I'll be writing. There was probably nothing to write, but I was just imagining what I felt my life was going to be like. And then people would come and they would ask for my uncle. There was a time somebody came to look for my uncle, that they want to see the owner of the gallery, and he was sitting right there. A lot of those things I probably learned from movies. I don't know where I got it from. And then I said, what exactly do you want to see him about? And the person said what they wanted and everything. When my uncle heard and he knew something he would be interested in, he now said, I'm the person you're looking for. But someone that did not know would just say, that's the person sitting in front of you there, whether or not the person. So I learned how to be a receptionist. And I didn't even know that my uncle was impressed. I felt like he was giving me the money because he's not my uncle. So I would go there. He would give me 500 naira. He would give me fried rice and turkey, 5 alive, and digestive. So every Wednesday, I got those things. 500 naira, fried rice and turkey. I can't forget it. 500 naira, fried rice and turkey, 5 alive, and digestive. I can never forget this thing.
Wow.
And then, so I was interning. So when I finished and then when I was not working in school, I would now, or when I come back to Lagos, I would go to an auntie's law firm and go and work there. She's late now. I one of the people I acknowledged in my book, Bisola Osague-Iduh. I would go there, I would work. I left there, but maybe another holiday, I'll go and work with Ekweme, another law firm. When I left law school, my brother insisted, I was looking for where to be a PA I wanted to be Daisy Danjuma's PA. I didn't know who she was, but I just felt like I wanted to be a PA. But my brother said, go and work in a law firm, And then I started working in Intl Ameze Osague-Iduh. 14 months, went back to law school. As I was doing all of that, I was also selling clothes. So I would I told someone that was selling clothes, I said, can you give me your clothes? Write everything down. I will take it with me and I'll go and sell it. Because I just felt like, look, so money is not everything. I needed money to live the kind of life I wanted to live, but I wanted to be a lawyer. So all those other things, I was doing the extras to support what I felt my vision was or my purpose was at the time. So sometimes your purpose may not be giving you what you want. So do other things to support you until your purpose can pay you. It is advisable to do other things. Yes. That's what I would say.
Thank you for that. Okay, so after this question I'm asking now, I will be handing over the microphone to you to ask me any question of your choice in the context of fulfilling purpose in the workplace. So there's this other, I think is a bit connected to this previous question, is what would you advise someone who says, I've been hired to do what I've been hired to do is not what I desire to do, but I have the credentials for it. So this kind of people, possibly they were maybe forced by either jam or their parents or circumstances beyond their control to just fill in a course, studied, got out of university, and the available job was what they studied in school. So throughout their time in university, they already knew this is not what I'm supposed to be doing with my life, but let me just complete this undergraduate study. And maybe a father that's influential now says, oh, my son just finished with a 2-1. And maybe fortunately and unfortunately for them, they're also very intelligent and very bright. So they come out with either a first class or an upward credit, and then a job is already waiting for them even before they drop their last, before they wrote their last paper, and then they get hired. The job is paying 300K a month, entry level, but the boy or the young man or the young lady knows that this is not what I desire to do, but I have a credential, I have the certificate to do it. How would you advise the person to navigate that season? Also, which chapter of this book should this person go and read? Right?
Well, I'm happy that you have a copy of the book. I'm traveling right now, so I'm not with a copy of the book. But what I would say is, whatever your hand finds to do, do it. On the way to where you find what you love to do. But in the meantime, do what your hand finds to do. Don't abandon what your hand has found to do because you want to pursue what cannot feed you. Because you will still go back to the, oh, my parents forced me. If you now abandon to go and follow your dream, you will go and run back to those parents to feed you. That's not what you want. So whilst you're doing something that empowers you economically, it's my husband that says that a percentage of your earning must be towards your retraining. So you will take from that earning and then begin to train yourself, and if possible, go and volunteer somewhere that will train you after work. That's the sacrifice you will play, because the fact that you have a skill or you have a passion for something doesn't mean you can do it. Passion does not equate to knowledge or skill. It is what it is. It's passion. So you will do what you're earning with, and then after hours you will ask somebody, can I come and work and observe you for free? When you have won the skill, you now put that on your CV and start looking for work based on what you love. Or if you don't want to work for anybody, start doing what you love on the side until what you love on the side can pay you what you are being paid where you are. That will be my honest advice. Because we get carried away by all this passion, and then you see another thing. I saw something on Reverend Femi's post, his joke. And he talked about, somebody said something, a motivational speaker said, I said something belittling the importance of money, and the person's response was, until they kill one motivational speaker, they will not learn their lessons. The thing is, when you listen to motivational speakers too much, you get carried away. So I know someone that I heard say, I started this business with only $50. And I called her. I said, but that's not true. You will let somebody abandon what they're doing and go and try to grow an empire with $50. But you did not tell them that your father left you a fortune. You did not tell them that you had a fallback plan, that these people that will just hear you with starting a business with $50 will now run and go and say, Miss, I'm going to start my own business with $50. You will not tell them that you had a house that you didn't have to pay rent for. You will not tell them that you were driving a G-Wagon. You won't say all those things. And it wasn't that you bought it. It was literally your father gave it to you from the grave because he left you an inheritance. So people will run with, I started a business with $50, leave what they're earning and run to go and try to start a business with $50 and start crying. The person that said that had a fallback plan, had something, had a base. She didn't start the business with, and I was so upset. Like, people will think that this is real, but no, you had a house, you had a roof over your head, you had a car that was paid for in full, you had a flat in London, you had all those things. Oh yes,
that's very misleading. The information she gave about.
But did she start the business $50? Yes, she did. You see what I mean? I don't think she set out to lie, but it was misleading. Because $50, you start the business, but it's not going to feed you immediately. It's not going to put a roof over your head. It's not going to put clothes on your body. And I know her, and I know the business is doing very well, but I know she's reinvesting into the business. So when you listen to a lot of motivational speakers and you listen to a lot of, follow your purpose, follow your this. I had a boss that was a millionaire in dollars, and he told me my purpose is to feed my family. So what he was trying to say Oh, yes. What he was trying to say, and I asked him that question when the Steve Jobs purpose thing was running up and down. He said, my purpose is to feed my family. So don't get carried away. If I cannot feed my family, they will just say, you and your purpose, go and jump into the lagoon. So whilst I am certifying myself, retraining myself, getting experience and exposure with respect to my purpose and what I would want to do eventually, I will do what is paying the bills right now. I have a friend that works with a multinational, but she loves poetry. She's a lawyer. She's good at it. She graduated with the first class. But she said to me, but this, what I'm doing, I don't really like it. Oh, this is what I like to do. I said, my darling, I appreciate that you don't really like it, but be doing it until this one that you really love can pay you what this one that you don't love is paying you. So that one at that time, this one will pay you in fulfillment. And you know, we also must appreciate our backgrounds and our environment. If you were in the Western world, you can get a loan from the bank. You can invest in this. If you want to get a loan from the bank in Africa, or let me speak to Nigeria, you go and bring your mother's intestine, your father's gallbladder as collateral for the loan. They don't do that. They encourage innovation. They fund innovation. They fund businesses.
Yeah.
You think if you go to a bank now and say you want to fund Purpose Academy, they will readily give you the collateral they will ask you for is equivalent to your wife's gallbladder, your children's kidneys. You say you want to fund, you want to build an institute. They say they'll say we are coming. This one that you have been doing. How many institutes are the individual? So when you're admiring motivational speakers abroad, please also remember their environment and how that environment encourages them to try and to fail. Nigeria does not encourage you to try and to fail. You better succeed. If not, we're coming for you. In the developed climes, you just file for bankruptcy and they will leave you alone. The chap is bankruptcy, they will be the ones to bankrupt you in Nigeria.
We cannot be
bankrupt here. Hey. So that's what I'm saying. So when you are following people, be careful. Listen to what they're not saying.
Background story.
Yeah, there's always a background story. And to their defense, they may not be meaning to deceive you. It may not be calculated to deceive because they themselves don't know. My friend genuinely believes that she started a business with $50. She's not a liar. She's a tongue-talking, spirit-filled believer. So she was not setting out to deceive because she did start a business with $50. But I'm her home girl. And when I saw the G class, the small G wagon, I don't know what it's called. It's called the baby G wagon. I said, our girlfriend, what's this? She said, Daddy literally gave it to me from the grave. The flats in London, Daddy literally gave it to me from the grave because it was inheritance. So that means you will never lack a roof over your head. It's unlikely. So
I call that
doesn't have Daddy from the grave, you now go and start $60.
She had soft landing.
Exactly.
All right, so it's your turn to ask a question, but I have another question for you after that. But I'll wait for your question first.
Yes.
So
I'm intrigued by the Purpose Academy. I'm very intrigued by it. And I wanted to know what is the niche age of the people in the Purpose Academy and why that age? Why did you choose that select, that age bracket? What is the age bracket and why the age bracket?
Okay, very beautiful question. I've always had that question over and over and over again. First of all, life is divided into 3 seasons: morning, the word man. So that's the seasons of life: morning, afternoon, and night.
Mr. Purpose discovery. To write a book. You're just dropping some things.
There's a book coming out very soon. Why am I so different?
And your wife is very good, though. She has been an amazing resource. Shout out to the Etiquette Diva. I hope you utilize the resource and pay for it because she's been quite helpful.
My favorita. One of the things that I told her when we were sure we're going to get married, that on this journey, that one of the things that I promise you is that we will be birthing businesses. I will help her birth businesses inside her that she's yet to recognize. because of my calling as a purpose coach and all of that. And we're going to be 5 years in October. She has birthed 2 businesses plus where she works already. And
Plus
so
the
one of her
children.
businesses, yes. Oh yeah. So one of her businesses is how she got or one of the her natural abilities turned business from also working where she works is, in fact, that's how she got a job, Booksmart Publishing Services. So I just observed that anything I write or anything my wife sees written, she will pieces it and like, this is not well written, then she will re-edit it free of charge. Nobody gave her the job. And I'll be like, okay, so I observed that. And then when we even met, that was what I got stuck with. I called her for the first time and asked, do you have an Instagram handle? She said yes. And unlike most single ladies I meet at that time, all you will see on their Instagram page are pictures, selfies, and all of that, standing in front of cars. But this lady was different. She has been writing an article then she called Weekend Reflections for women 4 years prior to the time we met. And she will write it and just post on Instagram. So that's what I met on her page. Loads of articles. So I fell in love with her mind first before I even realized that she's actually a beautiful woman. So the age bracket was informed by the focus of the academy. So the morning season is the season God himself designed for human beings to discover their purpose. Using Jesus as our model, at the age of 12, he was already very clear and he could articulate clearly at the age of 12 that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And if you check the Jewish model, at the age of 12, your child should be able to tell you, or you should be able to tell your child, or to have been able to read your child enough to know that this is my child's path. He's supposed to be a fisherman, or my child is supposed to be a farmer, or he's supposed to be a wool maker, supposed to be a garment maker. Then you take that child at 12 and you take him to a rabbi, a master in that field. That's where you talked about internship. So that child will now intern for about 18 years.
Oh, wow.
You see the number? Yes, 18 years. And then at the age of 30, the rabbi will bring your son back to you now that he's ready to become what he has been tutored by. And if you check scriptures, at the age of 30, that was when Jesus showed up again at the Jordan. And now his father said, this is my beloved son in whom I'm well pleased. Take it to the Old Testament. At the age of 30, Joseph, David also sat on the throne. But they found their dream, or let's call it their purpose, when they were teenagers. So it's at that teenage season that purpose discovery ought to happen. And then the development, the skill acquisition, the mindset transformation ought to happen at the beginning of the afternoon season, which kicks off once you are 18. So by the time you are getting to 30, you should have stabilized. You should have been earning a living from your purpose, right? That's not when you should be discovering your purpose. So because of the void that we noticed, that this is a fundamental problem, graduates still come out of school at the age of 28 and they are they are more confused than they were. Because so we saw that gap and we decided to focus on that niche, to niche down, to also be able to measure the impact of the curriculum we created. And we have served that curriculum to over 40,000 teenagers in the last 15 years. And the outcome has been the same. The the quality of teenagers we produce, their mindsets are different. The ones that go into career paths know why they are going to work in a place, primarily to add value from their own value. And the ones that are wired to start their businesses, and so we have a lot of them like that today, doing great stuff, living meaningful lives. They have different mindsets from the average young person out there. So that's why we stay with that age. And also because I'm a Christian, I was divinely inspired to work with that age. But we began to evolve in the last 5 years. We began to
So you
evolve
do it from
to
age 12 to 30 or 12 to 18?
12 to about 19 is our target, has been our target age, target market, using that word, corporate word.
Do
But
you go to Camp David? Do you speak at Camp David, or do you like volunteer at Camp David? Because that's also like a
well,
mission.
they are already doing a great job at Camp David, and my assignment is more to the body of Christ.
Yeah.
So I look at what they are doing in Camp David. These ones have already found they've already found a good shepherd. And let me even say this on this live. When I was once in the teens church before this expression started. So when Pastor Mildred looked at what was going on, she called me into a meeting and asked me to give her a template that you work with teenagers. This is your calling. Can you give me a template if you are going to start teens church from scratch? Can you give me a template of what the curriculum should be? I said, oh wow. I said, okay. I said, when do you need it? She said, I need it 2 weeks ago. You know how mama is. I said, 2 weeks ago, okay. That means I should get to work. Because when I left university, that was 2008, I interned for 1 year free of charge working at the church office. Because I was led to do that based on the assignment that was before me. Because, God told me clearly, you won't go the way others have gone. I knew that from the age of 13, that I was going to pioneer something totally new. I didn't know what it was, but I knew what my path was. So I was prepared for that journey by God differently. My experiences, but tonight is not about me. So I'm trying to summarize the story. So for that 1 year period, I worked with Pastor K and Pastor M. I learned how to start a faith-based organization from scratch. And when I was to be released, it was clear that this is what God will have me do. So he laid hands on me, prayed over me, and it was a painful exit because I was that fourth problem solver kind of worker.
Navi worker.
Yes, exactly. And I'm not just hyping myself now. The records show, and I left some legacy milestone achievements in that organization that I'm always humbled when I look at what God helped me achieve in that 1 year at that time, because that was when we moved to the office at Apple Junction from Festac. So the office was understaffed, and here I was coming in to work as a volunteer. We just finished from university, on fire for the Lord, had a different mindset, and I was looking for a place to just pour in everything I had been doing. So it was a great experience. It wasn't easy, but it was a season of my life where I was sharpened and shaped for what I'm doing today. So my next question to you would be, what are the common mistakes that most employees make, and how did you avoid some of those mistakes? What are like the common mistakes? Maybe you could mention 3, 4, or 5 that most employees make in a new environment that they get into, and how do you advise that they avoid those mistakes?
Okay, so I we have a culture where we don't talk about our mistakes, and then you'd like to hear how I avoided them, but I'd rather share how I made them and came out of them. Because, like I said, everything is faith, and the righteous man falls him righteous is that he's able to stand. It doesn't make him less because he fell, but that he's righteous means that it doesn't end where the fall happens. Is that you are able to, bounce back and stand up. So I mean, I think the first thing I would say is your inability to settle down and understand your environment. You get into a place, and because you're young and impressionable and excited, you just dive in. There is a there's a place for, no, even if the employers tell you we want you to come in and hit the ground running and all of that. Thank you very much. Sit down and look around. And I say that I've said that in my podcast, and I think I wrote it in the book. Maybe you'll find that in Observing the Room. When I was in law school, a lecturer said, when a cock enters a new environment, he first stands on one leg. You don't just, I'm sure it's an Igbo adage or something. You don't just come in and just start, you have to first of all observe who are the people that are going to, who are the people, the power brokers, who are the ones that can affect my growth in these organizations. Who are the ones that don't look like they can affect my growth, but they are the voices behind the voice, and that doesn't come from just jumping up and down. It comes from settling down and
observing the room.
Yes, and there's a chapter like that, Observing the Room. Another mistake I made was, because I'm such a I like to play, like I said that. And so people think I am a hard worker. I'm not really, and I'm not even saying this to look down on myself. It's because I like to play. And I often feel like play is a reward for work. If I haven't finished the work, I will feel guilty playing. And when I'm playing, I don't want to feel guilty. As a child, it was going out to play with my friends. As a teenager, it was going out to visit go out to play 10 or play Suwe as a child. As a teenager, it was going to earning, like, oh, my mom would say, okay, we'll go and drop you at your friend's house and come back and pick you. It was the ability to go. As a university person, it was the ability to go and hang out with my friends or travel when my friends are going somewhere, or travel for a campus meeting or something. As an adult, it was my idea of play was an ability to travel around the world as much as I could afford. So when I say play, it has not always been pillow fights or traveling. My play evolved as I grew, and I just believe that my play is a reward for my hard work. So because I like that reward of play, that's why I work the way I work. That's why my work ethic is the way it is. Because if I have not done the work, I'll be feeling bad. So I said that to say this. It's good to work hard, but you must also make room for training yourself. I learned by doing. So there's a training that comes from doing the work, but there's also a training that comes from going away to go and be trained.
Yes.
But because of the way I work, I just pour myself into what I'm doing. But by the time I'm raising my head, it's midnight. It's time to go and play. So
you work with your heart, your soul, your body, and everything with it.
Make room for nothing else, especially in that when it comes to work. So I think that one of the mistakes I made, apart from not observing, is also not taking out time. Some of those my vacations that I used to travel abroad, I should have used it to go for a training. I only limited my training to what the organization provided for me. From your income, like I said before, it was my husband that said that to me. There must be a budget for training yourself from your income.
Training. I heard that,
the organization funds it or not, you must train yourself. Don't limit yourself to what your organization will provide. No, you must train yourself. And then another mistake, is especially, I mean, that probably won't affect everybody, but in my role as human resources, realizing that almost everybody that comes to you has an agenda, and that doesn't affect everybody. it's particular to human resource professionals. People are coming to you because they believe you can either move them forward or move them backward, or they want an advantage. And recognizing that will help you to deal better with them, and so that you don't get offended. You just understand that this person is here, the person has an aim. Now, maybe the fourth mistake I would say I made is thinking that, generally, ultimately, you see people through your own eyes. And I thought I was the first person that came up with that quote, until I realized that culture speakers, motivational speakers, people, thought leaders have articulated it differently. But you see people the way you are. So what you would do, what you would say in excitement, what you would, do innocently, can be manipulated and used as a tool and as a weapon. So I had to learn that whilst you may never, I have friends that are captains of industries, CEOs, MDs, but I've never seen them as CEOs and MDs. I've just seen them as my friends. So I've never really had an agenda with them. Never. In fact, it's when Body Up was released that I started saying, okay, let me pull on this. I've never seen them as, oh, this is an MD of a company, you can buy. I've never. I've always and I've always provided strategy or counsel advice to them as my homies. So I've never said, oh, this is something that you can be paid for. Do you know? Because they're my friends. I've never seen that. And so you would automatically believe that everybody else is dealing with you like that.
With that same worldview, which is not so.
Which is not so. And to be honest, which is not in itself a bad thing if you recognize it. Because if you recognize it, you won't be offended, or you won't even feel betrayed. You will see it for what it is and adjust accordingly. You will not be sulking over, I can't believe this. After this is not the way I did. Why is your heart breaking? Human beings will hume. They will be humans. At best, human beings are human beings. Yeah. And so you should be pleasantly surprised when the opposite happens. So when you go into the workplace, don't expect your boss to move the deadline because you have an issue. No, you don't carry your issues to work or carry your issues on your face. It's nice if your work environment is a family and a home, but don't take it for granted. Do your work. Do your work. Focus, do as much as you can. If you cannot concentrate, if you're dealing with something that will not make you give your best, take time off. Don't expect that your boss should understand that you just had a loss. That's why you're underperforming. No. There's room for casual leave, annual leave. Take portions of that. And if they now say, but we need you, then you say, I don't think I can perform optimally. They say, we'll take it like that and we'll still not appraise you badly. Then you can stay back. But don't expect that because it's your boss and they're supposed to be empathetic and all of that, they should understand I'm going through something. Your boss may be going through something too, or maybe coming from something.
Something as well. What you just said now brings, I remembered I was still quite young. I think I was in my early teenage years. I don't know if you remember this New Dawn on 10 with Fumi Yoda. I don't know if you ever watched that program, but
I don't think I did.
I've always been fascinated by people that do talk shows, and all of that, Oprah Winfrey and the likes and all of that. So this woman was like the Nigerian version of Oprah Winfrey at that time on NTA Channel 10. And she came to work, did her show. Her show was on live, and people usually call in. And guess what? Somebody calls in and says, Fumi, you are such a strong woman. And she was like, okay, who am I speaking with? What would you like to, what contributions would you like to make to the show? She was trying to still keep a straight face and be professional. And she says, Fumi, I know your house just got burnt yesterday night. And here you are in front of the camera, still doing what you do best with there was no sign on her face. Our entire house got burnt. In fact, the clothes she wore to do that live, she said she borrowed it from someone. just quickly went and was just doing what she had to do. That stayed with me as a little boy growing up. Like, nobody is going to permit you underperforming on a job that you have been paid to do because of a personal issue. And that comes to learning how to compartmentalize, how to leave your issues at home if you have issues. And once you are paid to do a job, do it. Or if you cannot do it, don't show up. Once you show up, then we would expect the expected is expected of you. So
Absolutely. Very
so
nicely put.
let's get into body up a bit so that we give those watching this some insight into this book. So please tell us, why did you write this book? I think you've mentioned it a bit, but why did you write this book, and what's inside body up for people to go grab? Initially, I was wondering, what is body up? I asked my wife, I said, that title, what does it mean? I went to check, because once I see a word I don't know the meaning, I'll go and check the dictionary. I checked the dictionary, I was like, I still don't get it. She needs to explain. So, but I now heard the explanation when you were launching the book, and I'm like, oh, wow, okay. But for those who are not on that live, please, could you just
Yeah.
give them insight into the book?
So Body Up, the name Body Up was really inspired by the Holy Spirit, because I wanted a name that would capture the essence of the book and would also be captivating, would also cause people like Mr. Purpose to say, wait, what does this even mean? And thankfully he had that effect. So Body, I was involved, like I said, I've always been involved in work projects where we're trying to make the organization better. And one of the many ways I have gotten strategies or ideas about how to move my organization forward is from exit interviews. If it's not exit interviews, that's when somebody has resigned and you're asking them, why are you
Wow.
leaving? What could we have done better? For me, exit interviews are a great tool, because the people sometimes are badly behaved, but sometimes you get the feedback that is frank and candid, because you cannot, apart from giving them a good or a bad reference, you cannot beat them, or you cannot show them pepper because they tell you, tell you
The
something that
feedback.
you're not comfortable with, that is not pleasant to hear. So this wasn't even an exit interview. It was a colleague that had left and gone to another organization. And I said, what are they doing in that organization that I can do here to make this place better? Like I said, I always want to make where I work better. And then she said, where I work now, apart from HR telling you during induction stuff to do, they also assign somebody to you, like a body. And that person will be the one to tell you the things that HR may not remember to tell you, the nuances, behaviors. We don't do like this here. Don't stay too long in the kitchen. All those, or this is where the kitchen is. This is how you do your memo. Those kind of things. And that person will be assigned to you. And I thought that was very interesting. So I documented it, and I went to present it to my MD that I think we should do this. He now said, so how will you know that it has worked? I don't know where I got it from. I said, when the body becomes a body. That means when the person that was bodied is now able to be a body, then you know that this thing has worked.
Wow.
And then so when it was now time to name the book, I didn't have I started writing the book in 2020. I only got a name for the book in maybe 2023 or 2022 when I started to write it. So I was thinking, what would we call this book? Blah, blah. And then I now said, if I want them to be a body, then if they body up to something, and that was how it came. I promise you. When I say it was really given by I can't tell you that I saw it anywhere. In fact, when I was thinking about the design for the book, I knew that something had to be up. I thought of a man and a woman standing on top of the up. But I now said a man or a woman. I said, I don't want to bring any gender issues. Why must it be a woman? Is it against women? Why must it be a man? Don't men want to? He said, okay, that means I can't put any particular gender. So I just sent Pastor Emma. I'm just trying to get a design for the book. She now said, okay, give me some time. She was busy, but I mean, I'm grateful she always has my time. I mean, she's my friend. She's one of my best friends, you know. So um she sent me that. And I said, okay, can we just change the phone? But I love it. This is what I was thinking. I just didn't know how to, say. She said, okay, make the adjustment. This one I'm telling you, she'll take my comments, send it to whoever. I think Favor was even involved at the time. Send it to whoever, and they will make the adjustments. She would send me something about the font. I don't like this font. I think you should do it. When I was trying to figure out NaviWork logo, she'll say, okay, take my comments on board. She was literally working for
Wow.
me. So that's how Body Up came. And what is Body Up about? I didn't want to complain about the generation of workers that existed. I wanted to help because I was helped. I am not Ameze works so hard, Ameze writes so well, Ameze talks so well. No, Ameze had the benefit of tutors, had the benefit of mentors, had the benefit of physical presence in the office, which a lot of the generation of people we are complaining about have not really had because of the time that they started working, COVID. So something I wasn't told, I just caught it. I wasn't taught, I was caught. Some things they didn't sit down to tell me, don't do this. I just observed that we don't do this.
Yeah.
And so I don't do it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Things are caught.
Some things are caught. So some things I caught. I wasn't really, nobody opened their mouth. Oh, there's some things that some people opened their mouth clearly to tell me. And I put those things in the book. So I felt like if I can document my experience over I started working. I mean, I'm talking about post-graduation. I graduated in 2002. That's from law, in like undergraduate law. And then I went to law school in 2003 and graduated from law school in 2004. But I started working from when I was in school. So if I can put everything that I've learned as best I can, I'm sure there are more things, and that's why I do the lives every Thursday, Q&A sessions, so that people can ask questions and I can say, oh, this is how I handled it. Or somebody else in the crowd can say, or do it like that. I'll say, hey, like that. Because I don't think everything can be in the book. That's why the lives are good. And when people ask questions, it's easy to sort of answer that. I said, if I can put it in a book, it can be a manual. And I don't like books that are too bulky. If you ask Favor, I kept saying, I don't like this font size. This font size makes it look like a serious book. I want people to enjoy it. I want people to just, in fact, when I was writing the book, I was upset that it was over 200 pages. I was very upset. I don't want the book to look so intense and so serious. I don't want that. And that's why I say 50-week guide. In other words, you don't read the whole thing in one day if you can.
One day.
Take one thing
for it.
And each chapter is not meant to be more than a 5-minute read, because I want you to get the message. And if you're interested, go and dig deeper, but enjoy it. Enjoy let it be fun. Let it be like somebody is gisting with you, sitting in your room, and take a topic a week and say, I'm going to try this for this week. I'm going to try this for. So it's a 50-week guide, but I know people, they want to read it and consume everything. I was trying to reduce it. And if I was reading a chapter and it was more than 5 minutes, I would take things out. I'll feel like, I would time myself. This thing should not be more than 5 minutes. When I was writing it and I felt like, oh, it sounds so simple, I need to sound a little bit more intelligent, like well researched. And I remember one of my mentors, who I refer to a lot in the book, Grandpa. He said, why were you going why were you going into so many definitions? I said, I wanted to sound intelligent. He said, you don't have to. I took those things out. I took them out because I want you to want to read it. I want you to want to learn. I want you to find it interesting. So I was a bit perturbed when it was looking like it was plenty. I said, this book, it looks like a serious book. I don't want to say serious book. I want to say serious things.
Okay.
And you've
partner. The book is like a gisting partner, gisting you about your work environment, and what you need to avoid, what you need to do, what you should do.
I don't want it to be so serious. I don't want it to be so intense. So that's why it is the way it is. So that's the story behind the book. Let's teach. And the Bible says, let the older women teach the younger women.
Teach the younger women.
We have the propensity to be self-involved. We're just too involved in ourselves that we don't make time to teach people. And we get upset when they misbehave. But what if they were never taught?
Yeah, I always tell every time I have an opportunity to train or coach young business owners who have like 10 staff or 20 people working with them, I tell them, don't get frustrated with your staff on any subject or anything you have not trained them on. And it shocks
Exactly.
every now and then I see growing business owners, they don't have the policy or culture of training in their business, and they'll tell me when I'm as big as XYZ. I'm like, no, 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 no. Jesus is our model. If you want to be like Abraham, Abraham had 318 trained servants born in his house that he could call upon to go for a war unplanned, but they were trained. That means there was a system of training in Abraham's business. Jesus had 12 disciples that from day one, he started training them. He trained them for 3.5 years, and then he left them to spread his business. Now we have several branches. We have branches in every continent because training was from. So when I open the Bible, at times God shows me business policies and corporate things. So I do business consulting, but my textbook is the Bible. If I've not read the Bible, I don't go do any corporate training.
Wow.
No matter the textbook, yes, because I know that's where the spirit behind the letter is. The letter killer is the spirit that gives life. So we've been talking for just 5 minutes, and I look at the time, it's 1 hour.
Let me see.
Jesus,
Oh my God, 1 hour,
look
30 minutes, Mr. Popos. Hey, I
it just
can't
looks like
believe
5
it.
minutes.
I promise
It looks like 5 minutes. The first day I saw you hold the mic in DCC, I just had to turn like, who is that electrifying woman with the energy? Everywhere you have MC that I was like, why is she not a professional master of ceremony? Why is she not a professional master of ceremony? So please, I want you to answer that question tonight. Why are you not a professional master of ceremony? Then you quickly tell us where people can get this book,
okay.
and how much it is.
Right.
And for those who are on this call, are they going to get a discount, or is already discounted, or there's a flat
Favor is
rate
not going to allow
discount?
me give. Favor is not going to allow me give any further discount. She's your
Oh,
wife is there. She will not allow. Ask her. I'm sure she's giving you side eye.
we are not in the same place at the moment.
She
She's
can
somewhere
run out
else.
now and come and tell you, don't say that. Don't try yourself. Okay, so MC, like I said, MC for me started off as a playful thing. Like I said, I like to play. Like everything is play for me. So I started MCing fellowship, really. And so one time it was in law school, incidentally. We had a program in law school and in the fellowship, and I MC'd. And then the chief security officer of law school, I got back to my hostel and they said the CSO is looking for you. CSO is looking for you because he was in the church program or the fellowship program. And they told me to just come and coordinate the fellowship program. Do you get? And they had external ministers come. It was the campus in law school at the time. So of course I coordinated, made people laugh, made people praise God and everything. But CSO was invited for that. And the next thing, CSO is looking for me. CSO is looking for me. And I was like, why is the chief security officer of the Nigerian law school looking for me? So I went to, he said, he called me, MC. I said, sir. He said, the DG is doing something. You are going to MC it. They didn't say, can you MC it? Will you like to MC it? We would like you to MC it. That's not what he said, though. He said, you are going to MC it. Yes. I said, okay. Now it had turned to work. So it was no longer something I was looking for. It was not something I had to pray and I'll not be jittery and everything. But of course, when I held the mic, they were in stitches.
Yeah.
You know, and even the DG said, and like our amiable young lady said, but you know, everybody was referring to me, and I was like, oh wow. So at least I could now relax. Then how it started happening in DCC was at my brother's 40th birthday in Houston in 2015. Pastor K and Pastor M were there because you know we're family. And as I was emceeing, Pastor M was like, all I can see is dollars. All I can see is money. Why is this girl not doing this thing professionally? I said, it's family, it's family. It's only family gatherings that I do. She said, family gatherings. I say, yeah, that means church. It's a family gathering.
Gathering.
And I had never, apart from fellowship in school, I had never done it for church. But she this is what she used to get me to do it. It's family now because it was my brother's birthday, so I was making everybody laugh. We're and all of us were laughing because we're very funny. Pastor K is my brother too. You can see he's very funny.
Yeah.
You know, so we're very funny in my family. You know, so we're all making each other laugh and somebody's, you know. And so she now said, "Come on, MC now." That's how it happened. And so
Wow.
and everybody was in stitches. And it was like, I mean, no. Who else would do this? And that's how, so when you tell me to come and do it as a profession, it becomes work. It becomes like something that I have to take it serious. People have approached me to come and MC their wedding, and I won't even know how to bill for it because I'll bill for it like a lawyer or a consultant, and that will be a lot of money. So I don't even I cannot see myself billing. I don't know how much they bill.
I can help you bill. I'll be billing for you. You'll be making them laugh. I will just send you.
To be work. It will be, like I said, it's born out of play. And when I do it in the house of God, for instance, because when I did it for law school, when the chief security officer called me, that was not the house of God. It was a function that was holding Nigerian law school, and he just said you will MC. So of course I had to read the room and realize that these are old men and women. I can't misbehave. There's a way. I remember the first love, dating, and marriage coaching conference that was held. They told me to come and MC, but it was a formal training. I remember Pastor K looking at me like this. And the Pastor said Pastor K could not even wait till we go home. He had to call to say, Ameze is so serious. I can't even believe she's doing it. I said, because you called me to do the serious one. So that one was really work. It was like a work function, like the one I had to do in law school. It wasn't family focused. So I did it because I was doing something for my pastors and my brother and my family. But the one I like is just when we are ourselves, we are playing, we are laughing. So I don't know that I can do it professionally. Who knows? Oh, I don't know. I'm happy that people are electrified, people are blessed, people are laughing, they're in stitches. But I don't know if I can do it as a paid gig. I don't know, honestly. I honestly don't know.
Well, I would leave that to time and the Holy Spirit.
Exactly. So Body Up, you can get the book. You can get the book. I think Favor can comment and let me know whether because we republished it because we made some comments and adjustments and we realized some things that Amazon didn't do right. So we had to pull it up and republish it. So it should be available because now when people try to buy it on Amazon, they see out of stock. So it will be
Favor says speak humor. That's concerning your gift for MCing.
So on Amazon, you probably will be able to buy it tomorrow, Friday, or on Monday because it has been republished and it will take some time. But you can also get it on Seller.
Okay.
If you buy it on Seller now, and so on Amazon is £15.78, $19.97. But for Seller, and on Seller as well. So if you're buying from the UK, or from the US, is the same thing. But if you are buying from Nigeria, Amazon next week Monday. Okay, so Favor says on Amazon it's available next week Monday. On Seller, we're selling it for 10,000. Favor, correct me if I'm wrong. That in naira, in dollars is the same price, in pounds is the same price, in naira is 10,000 naira. Favor, right?
She says it's readily available on Seller for both hard and soft copy.
Yes.
So there you go, people. If you want to get this, if you want to get a bite or more than a bite of this wonderful book that will help you in your career
Favor is
to avoid
correcting us. Favor is correcting us. It's 10,450.
450
Yes,
interesting price.
in naira,
So
but in all the
in
other
naira,
currencies, yes, it's
in
the
naira, this
same.
is naira for those within Nigeria. This is the amount. I
Yes.
know why the 450 there, but I won't say it on this platform. But that's the amount, and then it will be delivered to you wherever you are within Nigeria, but you get to pay for the delivery fee yourself. There's something that Dr. Miles Moreau said, and I want to re-echo it on this live that we're doing together, which is why I said I would use my own platform in my own unique way to also promote the sale of this book. And this is what he said. This is what he said. He said the wealthiest place on the earth is not the oil wells in Saudi Arabia, the diamond wells in Liberia, and he mentioned many other countries that had natural mineral resources. He said the wealthiest place on the earth is the cemetery, the graveyard, because there are possibly millions of people who died with books not written, songs never sung, businesses never built, ideas that they never pursued. So they died with their gift untapped. So whenever I see anybody write a book, I celebrate it. I find a way to, because I love this is something I discovered many years ago, that once I help one person a day achieve something that they were trying to do, no matter how small it is, I just have this huge sense of fulfillment. So the very first book, Pastor K's first books, When Am I Ready? And 25 Wrong Reasons Why People Enter Relationships, I was the first marketer, or amongst the first set of marketers, way back in university days. And I was not a member of DCC then. I would just go to the church office then in Festac. I'm like, sir, can I help you sell these books? And I was selling. I would sell and bring back all the money to him. Then one day he said, don't you want to sell this book as a business? I said, oh, there's an opportunity to sell for business. So I know the power in writing a book, because this book can go to China, that it will go to places that you may never
be able
go
to
to,
go in. Yes.
and God will use it to do his own purpose, even in a bigger way than you imagine. Somebody can read the book now and see something totally different from what you intended, and their lives will be blessed. So thank you so much for putting all the hard work into bringing this beautiful book. And it's such a beautiful book to hold.
Thank you.
When you get to hold this hard copy, this is the hardback.
The hardback, please, we're not selling hardback, it's paperback. Hardback is us.
For people who don't know, we're not selling hardback. For those who want to get,
Hardback is expensive, please.
Paperback, yes. So let me see any other. I have 3 more questions here, but I'll choose one after your own final question to me. I have 3 questions, but I'll just choose one more.
Mr. Bubbles. Okay. I think that my final question to you is, how has the journey of the academy been? Are you always this pumped up about it, or are there days when you wonder whether you're doing the right thing, whether you are doing? Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether you want to tell us. Maybe you want to leave that to your solo. But those are kind of questions I ask, because the most consistent thing I have showed up for every time was Hannah's heart. When I was praying for women trusting God for the fruit of the womb, when I am praying for women trusting God for the fruit of the womb, no matter how tired I am, the days when I just know I can't and I look for somebody else to take it, but it has been my most consistent show up. That's what I would call it. And then when Navi work started, and I said, I'll write the book, but I will be available every Thursday to answer questions. And I know that it's not every Thursday that I want to answer questions. It's not every Thursday that I'm feeling up to it, but I have to show up because I have made a commitment. So I want to know, are you always this pumped up or ready to go?
Okay.
Are you always, or are there days where you say, this thing that I'm doing, am I sure, God, should I really be doing this? I just really would like to know.
Okay, so honestly, the answer to that question is no. It's not possible to always feel pumped up like this. But before I ever started this journey, I clarified, I prayed, I clarified with God, with men that were my mentors. And there's a quote I would like to give out there. It said, the quote goes this way, that if the path is beautiful, ask where it leads. But if the destination is beautiful, then don't mind the path. I'll say it again. If the path is beautiful, ask where it leads first before you jump on the path. Because there are some beautiful paths that actually are traps. But the path to great fulfillment, where you will be fulfilled, but many more lives would have been touched by God through your obedience, through your consistency, even on days that you felt like I don't have the energy for this anymore. That path is the path that is worth sacrificing for. And if we're going to model like Jesus said, for the joy that was set before him, he despised the cross, he endured the shame. So we are like vehicles. When you drive a car, if you are going on a long trip from Lagos to Abuja, you are in the United Kingdom. What's the farthest distance apart? So let's say you're going from Manchester to, a very far, another part of
Let's say
the United Kingdom.
Manchester to maybe from Manchester is up north, so let's say the south. Where would I say now? Well, let me even use Newcastle. By road, that's about 4 hours. I'll think of
Okay.
somewhere further,
Somewhere
like
like a
maybe
10-hour journey.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I don't know.
so if I,
I would say Newcastle to London by road would be about 8 hours.
okay, so
Yeah.
let's imagine an 8-hour trip. If you start on full tank, there will be a part of that journey you will need to stop and refuel. If you don't do that, that car is going to break down. And until you refuel the car, the journey is not going to continue. So what pioneers must learn is that when you are tired, don't quit, rest, go and do a retreat, refresh, change the oil, gauge the tires, get your perspective again. Jesus did that often, even when he was here. You would see in different parts of scripture where said he would, after a major miracle or a major crusade, the next few chapters you will see that Jesus went alone to pray, or he withdrew himself. So I saw that pattern. I saw that also in the life of Pastor Kingsley, and I've seen that in the lives of people that have lasted for a long time on their core assignment. They always withdraw, go back to the person that called them. They refuel, they get the fire back. Because if you don't refuel like that, after some time, you begin to give bad vibes, bad energy.
Yeah.
Because you may have personal issues going on. There are days that if I look at my bank balance, it might knock me off balance. Because so usually after every project, I don't look at my bank balance. If we do a project like February 14th, we hosted a conference for 1,000 teenagers from 25 schools. That was a giveaway project. So I didn't look at my bank balance. I looked at the impact chart. I looked at the number of lives. So now the monies that we spent it doesn't come back to us as profit, financial profits. It comes back as people profits. So from the beginning, I had to answer the questions before I began that. What is my profit? What is the profit for this? And I asked God, who's going to pay me? So God pays me back in different other ways. I get businesses, but I'm not doing this for money at all. So from the beginning of the journey, I knew that my reason for doing this And success will never be measured by how much money is in the bank. It will be measured by how many people, how many young people were we able to. Yes, thank you for that. Oh, that's a bankable statement right there. Please, somebody help me type. So amazingly, the vision now began to grow to the point whereby people pay us, people pay now, but at the beginning, money was not at all. So when I see what is now happening, I'm like, oh wow, God, you actually, let me say, I say this way, God, you actually tricked me into this path where there's actually more money than I can ever imagine.
Great.
Right inside this cave. So I call it a gold mine, but it didn't look attractive. It looked scary. It looked uninviting, but I knew I had a conviction that this is a path that I have to create a path for others to follow. And I like, okay, if this is my life's assignment, then I have to brace up and let's go for it. And the foundation behind it is also the love I have for Jesus. So it is powered by that love, because he came here, showed us, if you are going to make any meaningful impact in the lives of people, you must love God and love the people that you are sent to.
Yes.
But am I always pumped up? No. But once I get in front of a camera or get in front of people, the energy just comes. I believe the anointing also helps. So that's the answer to that.
Thank you. It's good to know, because sometimes when you just see people come on lives and they're doing their thing, you're wondering where they're getting the energy from, how they're able to do it day in, day out, and all of that. So it's interesting. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So I think I'll just ask you the final question that is here. Which is
what Mr. Popo is like a joke you have done 2 hours from final question. Final.
Wow. Final. And it's just 20 minutes we've been talking for. Is there?
Okay. If you say so.
All right. So what advice would you give the 16-year-old version of yourself? If you could go back to being 16, what would you advise yourself to do differently?
Not be in a hurry to grow up. I don't know about young boys, but young girls want to be adults really quickly. There's no hurry. Pace yourself. That's what I would tell her. Don't be in a hurry. Pace yourself. Don't be in a hurry. Pace yourself. And when you're a teenager, you think you know. I'll just tell myself, you don't know. Listen to those that have gone ahead of you. Especially when you're born again. I got born again when I was 11. Like, I gave my life to Christ when I was 11. I took it back. Then I gave it again finally when I was 14. So because I was spiritual and I fasted for 100 days when I was 16,
Wow.
Oh yes, I fasted. I think that's when we didn't did. I think it was 1996. We didn't did the 100 days fast.
I remember. It was very publicized.
Yes, I did.
100-day fast.
Yes, and I was the president of the Bible Club and president of the Christian Union. So I mean, I led my members to do the 100-day fast. So I just felt like I knew everything. There was an arrogance of strength and faith that I had. But the truth is, when you have knowledge of God and knowledge of the Word of God, it makes you humble, not arrogant. So I would advise my 16-year-old self to be humble and not be in a hurry to grow up. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Wow, that's so deep. That's so deep. There's a lot in that.
Yeah.
So young people, Gen Zs, draw your ear. Gen Alpha, draw your ear.
Yes.
Open your heart to learn. A parachute is useless until it is opened. So you must have an open mind. If you don't have an open mind on all subjects, you may never learn what you need to learn. All right, thank you so much, Ma. So for people who want to get the book, this is the paperback, very beautiful, well packaged, with her beautiful picture at the back. This is the hard copy. Some people will be wondering, how come you're the one that has this book? Anyways, that's a conversation
for another day.
So we have been so blessed having you. This I'm gonna save this on my page. This is a
Yeah.
resource that I believe whoever watches this uh, in the next couple of days, months, even years to come, if Jesus tarries, will find this very resourceful.
I
Please
think
go
you should
to her page.
also. I think you should also cut it up in beats. Like if you can get your editor to get the points that you want people to,
Okay.
punchlines that you think it will be good for people. Because the generation we're also dealing with, if we're conscious about them learning, we must not say you hide it in a book, they will not learn. In a long video, they will not learn. You want them to learn, right? Good. So let's take the nuggets, and put it in punchlines for them so they can grab it. That will push them to watch the 2-hour video,
Yes, we
I think.
break it into small bits, and thank you. Wow, that's a lot of wisdom there. So my media team, they've taken note. Some of them are on this live.
Okay.
So thank you so much. Our final words will be: we wish you greater success. Nabi Walk Live. Please follow her. Follow Mrs. Ameze Osague-Iduh. She is married, happily married, with children. She's a fantastic mother, and she's a great wife to one gentleman, Mr.
Very,
Steve.
very, very gentleman.
Very gentleman, yes. So the book is available. Navi Walk Life will return again on her handle next week, Thursday, 9 p.m. For those in the career line, all you need to know is in this book if you want to get to the top of your organization without burning bridges, without breaking the
No.
rule. All right, because everybody is pulled to the top. So if you leave me here, I can keep you here till 12 midnight,
So,
and it will look like we just started. So I
I
must
can't
allow
even
you go now.
believe I can't even believe you did 2 hours. But thank you. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. And I think you're such a wise man. I was thinking that you were the lucky man for Favor, but I think that Favor is also a fortunate woman. And I really do pray that you will continually see great success in what you're doing.
Amen.
I think that what you're doing is thankfully is now paying you in naira and kobo, pounds and dollars. But I'm glad that it will continually pay you in fulfillment. And when you see these people that you're dealing with that are age 12, 16 to 19, when you see them in the future, you'll be glad that you're part of their story. That's the fulfillment. And because
Yes.
whether you recognize it or not, that whether you recognize it or not, you're solving a problem. Um, and I'm grateful that you're solving that problem. I wish more young people. I just saw my friend that has a teenage daughter join the live. I also see one of my sons with them are joining the live. I think that they should follow you and take life seriously because a young person who has their whole life ahead of them can still make serious mistakes. But if they allow themselves to be guided, they will be grateful at the end of the day. So
Thank,
thank you, Mr.
thank you.
Poppy. Before I start yawning on this live,
Thank you.
I have to.
Have a good night,
I
and please,
will
people, go follow the Amazing on her page, Navi
work.
Walk Live.
Yeah. Thank you.
You won't regret it. You'll make wiser decisions listening to her in your career
Thank
path.
you
Good
very
night,
much.
ma. Good night,
Good
ma.
night. Thank
Let's
you.
celebrate her, everybody. Let's
Thank
celebrate her.
you.
Please give her all the emojis. Show her the love, and go to seller.co right now and order your copy of Body Up, Body Up, Body Up, Body Up, Body Up. Wow. Purpose and You Talk Show will return again at the end of the month, last Thursday of the month. For those who are if you have a teenager between the ages 12 to 19 or 21 maximum, please you can register them, sign them up for our leadership boot camp. It's coming up in July. It's titled Lead Up. Lead Up. It's a virtual leadership boot camp for teenagers. It's titled Lead Up. You can sign up. Go to my page. You'll see how to register your teenager. If you're outside of Nigeria, it's $30 to sign up. If you're within Nigeria, it's currently 30,000. It's 3 weeks, 3 Saturdays in July. And it'll be between 5 to 7. We're going to be holding teenagers by the hand and help them evolve in their personal leadership. There will also be etiquette mastery sessions. There will also be a session on how to manage and control their sexuality. And then we would also help each teenager find or have zoning on the career path that is most suitable to each person. Lead up 3 Saturdays in July, $30 or 30,000 naira. That investment will speak in the life of that teenager for a lifetime, I can assure you. Or just go to www.purposediscoveryacademy.com to get more details. Whatever you do from tomorrow, just remember that your life was made for much more than making money. You can make meaningful impact, get influence, and also make good income. And do something for yourself. Get body up so that your career can go up. My name is Mr. Purpose International. I'll be back again with another edition and with another insightful guest on the Purpose and You talk show. Exceed as you proceed. God bless you.